this isn't as bad as it seems. This past Tuesday, we went live and filled the 2,000 gallon for the first time, or at least we started to fill it. After I got about 10 inches of water in the aquarium though, I discovered a leak. Where did it leak from though? Well, there's only 4 places that this can possibly leak from. The first place you would assume this big tank would leak from is the viewing panel itself, but it didn't leak there. The second place is the perimeter of the aquarium. If you guys remember, the aquarium here was built in 2 parts. First, I constructed the walls of the tank, then we poured the cement for the base. And because we poured these at 2 different times, it means technically that the base and the walls of the aquarium are not one piece. So if you remember, we had to line the entire perimeter of the tank with fiberglass to make sure that it was sealed as we were epoxying it with the pond shield. But it didn't leak there either. The third place is the plumbing. Now, when setting up a new aquarium with so much plumbing installed, a lot of the times you can expect a small leak or, you know, maybe a few drops of water and you have to make some small repairs. Usually not a big deal, but it also didn't leak here. So what does that leave us? The chambers I created for the Ecotech MP60 wave makers. It's not that big of a deal, and technically it stopped leaking. Let me explain what happened. The last few months have been extremely busy for me. However, last week was a short week for me. Not only did I have to get a lot done out here in the gallery, but I also had a trip I had to travel and prepare for. So I installed the corner chambers for the wave makers rather quickly. Translation, I did a really sloppy job. Not totally though, this one was done perfectly. This one I knew I did a bad job on it, but I used so much silicone I thought, you know, it's going to be fine. However, down at the bottom right corner, when I was filling the aquarium, after it got to about the 10-inch mark, which isn't this tall, it's more like way down there, but once it got to that 10-inch mark, I noticed a small drop of water had formed on the other side. I thought maybe it's the silicone and it's glistening. I sat here watching it for several minutes and nothing else formed. However, about 15-20 minutes later, I noticed there was a small pool of water where a few drops of water had accumulated. I thought maybe somehow I got some water back there, but I was looking at it at the right moment and I seen a tiny little drop form in the bottom corner and puddle into that little puddle of water. And I thought to myself, well, since it's leaking so slowly, maybe if I fill the tank up more, the pressure of the water pushing against the chamber is going to seal that silicone even more. And I was right, it technically stopped leaking and I could have filled the entire aquarium, but it kept playing on my mind. What if this actually gets worse over time? Or what if it, you know, slowly leaks and I don't catch it? Maybe I'm gone away for a few days or something along those lines. So I thought, well, I could just install, you know, a float switch with a pump down there that if this ever gets water in it, it pumps the water out or something along those lines, but that's technically the lazy way to do it. What I technically should do is drain the aquarium and repair it properly and fill it back up. So that's what I did. So I discovered the leak on Tuesday, drained the tank and dried it out by Tuesday night and started to repair it. Today is Thursday morning, so it's actually had a full almost 2 days to cure. Actually, this evening will be 48 hours. I'm going to fill it later today, and by this coming Sunday, you guys will see it filled and running with equipment. That's of course if it doesn't leak again. In the meantime, I moved on to a few other things. I have to constantly stay busy out here or I'll get nothing done. So I got the plumbing finished. I'll let you have a closer look. I hope to be able to get this up and running this weekend and show you how everything works. But to give you an idea, we got the in-floor heater installed, which is going to heat the aquarium. I'm already testing it. We'll talk about that in a minute. We got all the pumps hooked up. All of my hose came, so I was able to run it through. And this looks kind of messy, but what this means is instead of using hard pipe, everything remains flexible so I can make changes or move them. Again, once this is up and running, I'll explain how all of it works and why I decided to go with this route. But the UV sterilizer is installed, the Ecotech battery backups are installed. Of course, you guys have already seen the pumps there, and the canister filter is ready to go as well. I do have about 2,000 watts of heaters in here to act as supplement heating if this isn't enough, but I'm pretty sure based on some testing I'm doing that this is going to be just fine. And clearly these are just thrown in there, I haven't installed them properly. So with the plumbing portion done, I'll be able to fill up the aquarium and have everything running right away. One of the things I'm most excited about though is getting the Reef Link installed and being able to control everything from either my computer or phone, including the Ecotech MP60s as well as the Vectra M1s. Now I still have to make everything pretty and clean up all the wires and, make it a little bit more organized. However, that's something I have all week to do. The MP60 controllers are installed here. You guys have seen that already. Again, all of the plumbing is ready to go, and I also installed a battery backup back here. This is going to run one of the wave makers on this side and one of the wave makers on this side, and that will ensure that not only are my filter pumps always on battery backup, but the wave makers are included as well. So technically, if the power goes out, I have anywhere from 10 to 20 hours of battery backup time, and that'll give me plenty of time to switch the entire building over to my generator. I should mention though, in the last 6 years, I've only lost power here about 3 or 4 times and never anything longer than 12 hours. So like I said though, I've been running the in-floor heating and this tiny little pump is running it right now. I'm actually building a flow meter so I can monitor how much flow this is putting through. I think it's important for me to know that it's actually running. The bottom of the tank is heating up and it's getting pretty toasty in there, but I've only been testing it to see how hot I can get it and how long it takes to get it there, but so far things are looking really good. Now some people have asked, won't your rays get burned or something like that? And the answer is no. I can control the maximum temperature of the in-floor heater, plus it technically takes a very long time for the water to heat up or the floor to heat up to any temperatures that are going to be dangerous, and in that time, a couple of my safety features will kick in and shut it all off. So one of the things I was actually thinking about that might have caused a problem with the leaking is that cold water or very ice cold water or cold weather can cause silicone to shrink. And since I'm filling this with ice cold water, perhaps it caused the silicone to shrink slightly in the spot that wasn't silicone that good. So today I'm gonna focus on filling the aquarium back up, and we'll see if it leaks. This coming Sunday, if there's no leaks, I'm going to not only show you it filled, but I'm also going to turn on all the equipment and we'll finally get a first look at how all of this works. I'll also work on bringing the aquarium up to temperature, and then I'll transfer all of my cycled media into the filters here, and I'll be able to stock it almost immediately. However, first thing I'll need to do after it is filled and I've confirmed there's not going to be any leaks is we're going to have to aquascape the tank again. In the meantime, I have to start working on the 375-gallon planted aquarium, or at least preparing for it. So perhaps next Thursday, I'll show you what I've got done on that. Anyways, guys, that has been the update on the 2,000-gallon aquarium. Typically, I wait till Sundays to do this, but based on the sheer amount of interest this past Tuesday, I had to bring you guys a quick update on what's been going on. Anyways, hope that you guys enjoyed today's video. I also would like to thank you guys for watching, and if you join me this coming Sunday, I will have this tank filled, hopefully, and we'll show all of the equipment running. In the meantime, if you're not following me on Facebook or Instagram, I will post some updates there, so I'll leave links in the description below if you'd like to follow me along.